This video might be a hot take, but I'm gonna explain why I don't play ranked in competitive games anymore and try to show you why you should do the same if you're like me. The first question I need to answer is how I got to this point. For me personally, there is a special place in my heart for competitive video games. I started playing Dota 2 over a decade ago when the International was ramping up and breaking its record every year for being the largest prize pool in esports, playing mostly Mirana. I joined a real Overwatch team when Blizzard announced the Overwatch League and personally participated in the first open qualifiers. I have absolutely no idea what I expected. I was high diamond on a good day and we got clapped in the second round by an actual professional team. It is safe to say I was incredibly competitive and it was the main reason I played video games. I didn't play games unless there was a competitive element with a rank attached to it. And I developed this obsession with competitive games and my rank when I was younger because it gave me a sense of purpose. I know, ridiculous, but let me explain. School was pretty boring in junior high and high school. I didn't love the sports I was doing, and it was hard to see what I was doing had any real meaning or purpose. I couldn't see the results of school, and my end goal was uncertain because it was just what my parents and society was telling me to do. So I found that purpose I was missing in competitive video games. It was a way to track exactly how I was doing and where I compared to everybody else. I could see my MMR number go up and move up in the ranks. My value and purpose became tied to a number that I could increase with time and effort. The feedback competitive games gave me was immediate, tangible, and I quickly became addicted to it. But this addiction to competitive games, although giving me a false sense of purpose, turned me into a monster. With the highest of highs that came from winning a ranked game and seeing my rank go up, also came the lowest of lows when I lost and was demoted. The wins kept me addicted and the losses made me toxic. I always blame my teammates who, at the time, were my closest friends, often yelling at them about why they didn't play better or why they didn't do exactly what I wanted them to do. Why couldn't they read my mind? They weren't obviously carrying me, so I believed they were the ones dragging me down and inhibiting me from being great. Because of this, I took out my anger and frustration on them so that my fragile teenage ego would be spared. I became so toxic my friends slowly started playing less and less with me until one day, they stopped playing competitive games with me altogether. And when the blame could no longer be put on them, I looked for other scapegoats for my fury. My fixation on my rank was so consuming that I bought a second copy of Overwatch back when it was $30 a copy so I could have an alternate account because obviously the matchmaking was wrong and I deserved to be Grand Champ, not Diamond. However, when I finally got my rank, it was the exact same rank as my other account and the only person that was surprised was me. I was in complete denial, and I did the same thing for Dota 2. I made a new Steam account and got re-ranked because I believed I deserved to be at a higher MMR, and I had to know whether my experience with my new Overwatch account was a fluke. Can you take a wild guess as to what happened? I was ranked at the same MMR in Dota 2. And having my ego shattered and my sense of purpose shaken, this led to my worst phase of depression in high school. Losing started affecting my mood outside of gaming and how I treated people in real life. If I lost a game, I would be short-tempered with my family, friends, and girlfriend at the time. My mood got so bad and I was so unpleasant to be around, she broke up with me and my friends refused to play any games with me at all because they were scared of what playing games with me entailed. Verbal assault. If you notice that gaming, particularly competitive gaming, is affecting your mood outside of gaming, you need to put a hard stop on that behavior and just let it go. Trust me, it doesn't matter how much your brain tells you it matters. Your brain is meant to understand the difference between winning your next meal, not your next 15-minute Overwatch game. Outside of the toxicity, I lost any interest I had in sports, and it was a struggle to get my schoolwork done because it felt like nothing mattered. All because of some stupid video games. Now you may be thinking, Carmichael, this sounds like an incredibly toxic mentality, and yes, it absolutely was, but I have seen too many friends and younger siblings of friends fall into this same toxic trap. After I realized how addicted I was to competitive games and how toxic I had become, my falling out with competitive games began. I didn't really play competitive games for a few years as I started college and found purpose in my life outside of gaming. I still played games like Slay the Spire and occasionally a slightly competitive game like Apex Legends with friends when they wanted to play, but my obsession with competitive games subsided. I joined a few clubs, made new friends at college, and I started to enjoy school more because I was learning more interesting things. Everything was looking up. But then COVID happened. and everyone was put on lockdown, and I was left alone with nothing but my computer and an internet connection. Like many people during this time, I lost my sense of direction, so I attempted to ground myself with something that used to give me purpose: competitive gaming. I re-downloaded both Dota 2 and Overwatch, having not played them for years, and started my ranked grind again. But this time, I was ranked lower than when I left because I was obviously worse than I was before when I played for hours every day. The game had added new heroes and map changes, and I quickly got frustrated that I wasn't playing at as high of a level as I was before. I was being teleported back to the same mentality when I was younger, and my mood quickly nosedived. I was lost at sea, having no motivation to play games because what used to anchor me to gaming was gone. I no longer had the fight in me to push myself to that place mentally. But one of my close friends came out of the fog to help guide me back to shore. He played Overwatch, and so I thought I would play with him, looking for someone to team up with and help carry me back up through the ranks. However, what I discovered next absolutely baffled me. He had barely touched ranked in his over 400 hours of Overwatch. He simply played quick play and picked exactly what he wanted to play, which was Mei. So much Mei. I couldn't comprehend this, and to me, this man needed to be scientifically studied. And so I did. I played a few games with him, and he was completely unfazed, happy if we won, indifferent if we lost, just playing the game to have a good time. I was astounded. It was my understanding that if you wanted to have a good time playing video games, you go over with those non-depressed gamers in the corner who like to play single-player games, not with us dopamine-addicted nutcases who play competitive games. But he was not playing Overwatch for a rank or purpose, he was playing because of his love of the game. He was simply enjoying the fun gameplay that the developers created. My mind was blown, and I had a wild thought. What if I tried to play the game like he did, with no cares for losses and only play the hero or role I wanted to? And so I began my quest. I simply played what I wanted to play, which was a lot of Junker Queen. And it was hard at first to let go and lose a game. I loved the playstyle of Junker Queen, but I wasn't very good at her, having not really played her before. And because I sucked, we lost more games than we won. I hadn't really played Junker Queen before because I didn't want to throw any competitive games. Even during our quick play games, I felt myself getting frustrated and wanting to swap to my mains like Ryan or Winston, but my friend grounded me. Playing Junker Queen with my friend, who was super chill about the game, removed the pressure I felt to perform and play those one or two heroes I knew the best. And as a result, I started having more fun with the game itself. I would still feel a brief pang of negative emotions when we lost, but I told myself to simply let it go and queue up for another game. My friend and I also talked about life, caught up, and only mentioned the game when we needed to, like if one of our ults were up. Before, I was so obsessed with winning, I couldn't hold a conversation. I was so focused on playing well to be able to win, I couldn't think about anything else. I was enjoying playing the game how I wanted to, and the joy I got out of gaming was not solely on the game anymore. I started to understand that the cause of my unhappiness with competitive games didn't come from the game itself, it came from how much pressure I put on it and myself. The mentality I had around Overwatch started to change. I started laughing more as ridiculous things would happen in the game, like if one of our teammates or one of their teammates did something dumb. We would get hyped up if one of us made a good play, but there was no stress that I had to make a good play or that we had to win the game, and as a result, I started getting better at Junker Queen, started making better plays, and we started to win games. I was reflecting clearly on my own mistakes and what I could change to get better at the game. I shouldn't expect my teammates to follow me in when I overextend and chase or be able to heal me when I go around a corner. When I was younger, I was too self-absorbed and blamed every loss on my teammates. As I said, I made multiple accounts because I truly believed that my teammates were the ones holding me back and I deserved more. And this better mentality made me so much more fun to play with, causing competitive games to be a chance where my friends could catch up with me, not get verbally assaulted. Playing with this friend taught me that competitive games have way more to offer than a rank or a badge. These games are inherently fun, and that is the reason that we play them. And now that I'm older, I don't have a lot of time to play these games, so I really have no hope of ever being anything more than mediocre at them. And that's okay. I'll still occasionally play a few ranked games to get placed, but I no longer care what that rank is. I play them out of curiosity, not a need. But mainly, I just play casually with my friends to have fun, and I'm enjoying competitive games more than I ever have. Recently I've been playing some Rocket League, The Bazaar, and some of Valve's new MOBA Deadlock, and Marvel Rivals, which is just 6v6, or the original Overwatch. And yes, both of these last two games have bugs and balance problems, but they're inherently fun, especially when you've got some friends to play with. I don't ever plan to play ranked in either of them, but I'm relieved when I say that now. Instead of getting upset, we can now laugh off how we all get one-shot by some random voice line ultimate we don't know yet, or get dominated by someone who doesn't touch grass and is obviously way better than all of us combined. And that is the point of this video. I know I'm no longer in my prime of competitive gaming, and I've started to learn to let that spirit go, but that doesn't mean that I need to let the fun that I have with these games also go. We can actually enjoy them more now and simply do what we're supposed to do with them. Have fun. And I urge you to do the same if you're like me. Take the edge off of ranked in competitive games and start to enjoy them for what they are. Games. However, if you do want to play ranked in competitive games, I've found a few tips that have helped me. The first is, if you're playing with friends, make sure that you're on the same page with how seriously you want to treat it. If you or them really wants to win, make sure you discuss that, or else one of you will likely get upset with the outcome if it's a loss and the other person isn't really trying. The second is to understand you'll probably not be the best to play the game, and that's okay. I know I'm older now and can't dedicate as much time to gaming and getting better. Play these games to scratch that competitive itch, but don't let it put you down if you aren't top 500 or even in the top 50% of people who play the game. The last is that you will get better if you focus on your own mistakes. Remember that the best players in the world could carry at least the bottom 80% of lobbies on their own. If you're a certain rank and losing games, there's probably a reason for that, and you should really look at your own gameplay to find areas where you can improve. Stop blaming the game or your teammates for your losses, and you will improve. If you've had a similar experience or a different one with competitive games, let me know down below in the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are, and I try to respond to every comment. If you like the video, please give it a like, and if you like me, subscribe. I'm working on a variety of video essays right now similar to this one and the ones already on my channel. And if you want to pick my brain live, check out my Twitch down below in the description and drop a follow. I get almost all of my highlights that you see in these videos from it. Until next time, take it easy and game on.